board as the father of two young professional women. The issue is one that thankfully has not hit close to home for us, but that is out there and is something that we all must be aware of. That is, in fact, one of the reasons that I brought the item with respect to clearing the backlog of the rape kits. And I want to thank Supervisor Foley and the rest of the board for their support on that particular item. The DA's office, Sheriff's Department have done great work in keeping not only awareness on the issue of sexual violence, but also in trying to bring closure to victims. That's why it is so important that we do ourselves out in the community keep a focus on this particular item. And so, do any of my colleagues have anything to add before we turn to the district attorney? All right, ladies and gentlemen, the district attorney of Orange County, Todd Spitzer.
Thank you very much. This means a lot, not only for the victims and the survivors who have to deal with sexual assault, but the law enforcement individuals and prosecutors who deal with this kind of crime every day can be overwhelming. Our sexual assault unit has the most experienced prosecutors because we have to examine evidence and deal with the trauma of the victims. And over time, that can be devastating for those individuals who have to deal with this evidence every single day. This board has been phenomenal in its support of taking care of the rape kit backlog. And I'm very, very proud of the board's support and everybody who's involved in that to make sure that we took care of that. Because as the chairman said, and Supervisor Foley has indicated, and all the board members have said repeatedly, we needed to do everything we could to clear the backlog so we could see if there were any unresolved cases that needed to be brought to court. When I was in the legislature, we extended the statute of limitations for sexual assault victims to over 21 years because sometimes it takes decades for a victim to come forward in order to indicate and to resolve and to be frank with law enforcement about that kind of activity in their lives. And the legislature has recognized that the statute of limitations for that crime, typically it's 3 or 5 years in most cases, but that is decades because of the acknowledgement. And to women in society in general, I want to thank you as a district attorney because you have stood together in solidarity to give strength and resolve to other women to come forward. A very high NBC executive just resigned in the last few days. This is going on in our society and has been perpetrated through silence for way too long. And so the fact that we have that movement and that movement needs to continue is something very, very important to all of us. We are all better when women stand up and stand together to help other women come forward. And let me also say this. It's not just women who are victims of sexual assault. It is also men who are also sexually assaulted, and we protect them as well. And it is children. And to the people at CAST, and Supervisor Doe and Vice Chairman Doe knows very well because he was in the office and understand and prosecuted these cases. Our children are examined at our Orangewood facility where we have our CAST experts, and they examine these children, and we have these interviews, and they have to explain things that have happened to them that are not within their experience. And it's not only overwhelming for their children, for those children, it's overwhelming for their parents, the guilt, and again for the people who have to prosecute these cases. And my job is to make sure, and this board understands, that I rotate those prosecutors through those assignments so I can give them the ability to get their head back together after they see the most evil, the most despicable, and the most demonic behavior by human beings against other human beings. It is the absolute demeaning of human existence to sexually assault another human being, and especially a child. So on behalf of the District Attorney's Office, this means so much to us because it exemplifies the commitment of this board, this county, all the employees of this county, healthcare, social services, and the like, and it reminds my prosecutors and our law enforcement community that we're doing good that we need to stay vigorous in our prosecution of evil. So thank you very much.
Thank you all. We will be back at 10 minutes to 10 to start the business portion of the day's agenda.